Well, hello and welcome to our cheap stunt for today. We're on the ground here in Kathmandu on a foggy day at a crappy add-on airport with bogus add-on lights and elevation issues and all sorts of things that I really don't blame the developer for, because this was not intended for prepared, but I sort of jammed it in here. But nonetheless, being a sort of ornery cuss that I am right now, I'm a little bit miffed. But anyway, that is all going to fall by the wayside, because what we're going to do is a truly immature and stupid act. What we are going to do is we are going to fly in the Mighty Dash from Kathmandu instead of to someplace insane but normal like Paro. Instead, we are going to fly to someplace totally idiotic, namely Lukla. And in case you're wondering about Lukla, it is the airport for Mount Everest. And in case you're wondering what that looks like, well, the flight plan looks like this, and there's nothing but terrain here. The airport elevation is 9,300 feet, which is actually the least of our worries. But let me show you what Lukla Airport looks like. Excuse me. Lukla Airport looks like that. We're going to be coming in from this direction, and it says "Welcome to Lukla," and that is a hotel. And that hotel is there and here's another hotel, just in case you survive the landing. This is really meant to be flown at most in a Twin Otter. It's about a 1,500-foot strip, so we can land on it. It is on the edge of a mountain, and you can't really see around the other side, but there really is no missed approach. So if you're not stable by right about there, you might as well just give up the ghost and just prepare to smack into the mountainside, because there's no real going around. So you have to go around about here or never. So anyway, it's a very short flight. We have unloaded all of our passengers except for our suicidal first officer. And we've got as little fuel as we possibly can. It's a 73-mile flight. As you can see, the departure, because the terrain is flying out this way and then coming around an arc that way and then back around this way, which will eventually take us to the magical place known as Lukla, surrounded by red terrain warnings, and going to land at flaps 35, and we'll see if we can do it. I'm not even sure if we can. I've not done well my couple practice runs here, so I don't even know why I'm getting my controls here squared away, because this seems to be at best a death trap, and at worst, in the words of the mighty boss, a suicide rap. But hey, you only live once in the fake aviation world, so we're going to give this a go and see how, in the words of Flight Sim 481, otherwise known as Rich, we'll see how we get on. This is really monumentally stupid. The weather is better at Lukla, thank goodness. If it were this bad there, we would call it a day. We're flying out of here on the, as you can see in the FMS, the Igris 1A departure. So we are going to come out this way, loop around this way, and then shoot out that way and end up right at Kimti, and that is going to dump us onto what we hope will be a visual approach for Lukla, and I hope I don't have to establish a pattern or circle or do anything like that. But this This might not end well. Just so you know, let me just get our altimeter, because heaven knows that's going to be important. 30 even. So up we go to that. Our V-speeds are actually, I set them when I had a little bit more fuel, but I offloaded some fuel. In any case, we are set to go. Let me just reset our chronometer to record for posterity our rank and utter stupidity, and let's get a cruising altitude, since we're already at 4,400 feet of flight level 180, because we're going to be threading in and out of mountain valleys. So actually, if we do this right, the altitude is not going to be a colossal factor, but we could end up climbing to our destination instead of descending. So here we go. And I've already got my trim set just a little bit nose down because of our light weight. And as you can see, we're accelerating smartly. And we're not accelerating as smartly as we could be because of the altitude, but there we go. Up we go. Very positive rate. Gear up. And we'll fly outbound on runway heading. And you can see we're outperforming our specified toga climb by some small margin here. There we are. We can start to bring up our flaps. Alright, up they come. Back come the props. And up we go. Just retrim a little bit. Get into IAS mode for the climb. About 190 knots, that's fine. All parameters are strikingly normal considering the abnormal bullshit we're about to engage in. And there's our turn. Spin the heading bug around. And we'll fly this arc. Well, actually, we're going to come to the outside of the arc, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually cut it a little bit inside what the flight director is recommending, because we don't have any passengers on board, and why the hell not? So this is more than a standard rate turn, and certainly more than the half standard rate turn that a lot of airlines will fly, just not to upset the passengers. But in technical language, we don't give a shit. We're on the road to ruin here, or at the very least to some kind of perdition. So you notice we've cut inside what our track would have been on a standard rate turn, and in a second you'll see our flight director needle will come back in as we cross back across our flight path, or we hope it will. There we go. And we're already flying. We already flying on the approach? I can't believe that. Is that already our extended center line? I think it is.
Bank angle. Bank angle.
All right. Well, we'll turn to the east the way we should.
Bank angle.
And continue our climb. That's about right. Nose down a little bit. There we are. And cut back in on our course, and then pretty soon we're going to be preparing to crash. I think that's the right word, crash. Okay, we're right back over the airport. I'm not going to look down at it, but we're literally over it, which is what this SID is supposed to accomplish, and we're cutting back in on our course. You'll see our HSI come screaming in a second. And I will tell you honestly, I'm not sure what the minimums are here because I'm not sure what the charts say because there are no charts. I mean, there are charts, but I don't have access to them, so. And somebody will tell me, I'm sure in the comments, hey, idiot, the charts are here. But, all right, there we go. We're doing as well as can be expected, I guess is the right way to put it. And since I don't know where we're going to start descending, I'm going to just I'm going to fly straight and level at this point. Oh good, we've got ice. Well, there we go. Boom, boom. Come on, don't freeze on me now. Feet, don't fail me now. Alright, now, when I visited Lukla in preparation for this flight, let's get ourselves on cruise, I didn't see any clouds. I could have been cruelly deceived, but let's just stay on course here. We'll keep in the green on the terrain warning. And we'll stay at about this speed. And we'll just hand fly the airplane. Because who needs an autopilot to lead you to your doom when you can do it yourself? A little pride of accomplishment. Try and keep the horizon level, you know, maybe. Trying to trim ourselves out. Got a small crosswind from the left, but it shouldn't be anything to worry about. I'm just going to come back on the power bit. I don't really want to rush things. That is the river valley. No, that's probably the second from the correct river valley. We're going to be coming in along to get to our airport. The reason why the pink horizontal needle is still elevated is because it thinks we're going up to 180. Let's just disabuse it of that notion. Better yet, we'll just hit that right there, and it will tell us what we need to do to maintain that altitude. And as we do that, here, let me just turn on the autopilot for a minute. Turn off the auto feather. And let's see. Okay, there's Kimpty. I have very, very low hopes for this. Arm the approach, but there is really no published approach. I do know that Kimpty is... Kimpty's 27 miles away. 27 miles up a kind of river valley. So, with any luck... by the way, that off in the distance is Mount Everest, so you kind of get some idea of what we're flying in and out of. With any luck, our airfield is above that cloud base. Otherwise, we're in deep Sherpa, that's for sure. Our V speeds are 102. I'm going to come so close to the stick shaker. Matter of fact, I'll even probably hit the stick shaker coming in that it's not even going to be funny. Well, it might be funny, but it won't necessarily be kosher. And also, just to give you some idea of where we are, that's where we are. I believe the technical term for this is way the hell up. we are way up there. And I won't say it's not pretty, but I will say we're not meant to be here. Keep our bleeds on min. Our cabin altitude is still more or less comfortable. Ice protection is still on. I don't think we need it, but I'm not about to chance it either. Last thing I want when I'm trying to eke out that last bit of lift is some ice on the airframe. Just scooch in a little rudder trim. Don't make me tell you again about the scooching. Scooch a little closer, boys and girls. It's crazy, I tell you. I got a fever, and the prescription is more cowbell. I don't know if that's a good Christopher Walken or not. Sounds more like my Uncle Morty. But, you know. Alright, here we go. Kimpty, then 27 miles, and then Doom. Well, here we are. This is our third try landing at Lukla, not because we're no good at landing or because the Mighty Dash can't do it, although I'm not sure it can, but because we've run into terrain and scenery issues wherein there's a big hunk of terrain in the middle of the runway. We're going to try one last time and then call it a night. What we've got here is a flight path. It's actually a little bit wrong. The airport's actually over this next couple of ridges here. So as soon as we turn, I'm going to descend us a little bit, just about down to, first of all, make our props where they should be. There we go. And get our power levers where they should be. I don't want to go especially fast or especially slow. That's about right. And let me just dick with our flaps for 1 second, because FSU IPC sometimes screws around with them when you first start up a scenario. I know I shouldn't be talking about that. We should be pretending this is a real airplane, but let's be honest. It is a fake airplane, and they all have their quirks. So I'm going to set us to 11,000 feet, which is about 1,700 feet above airfield elevation. This is going to be a flaps 35 arrival, props max, as you can see. We're actually going to be coming in slightly below our VAP. We're going to be flirting with the stick shaker the entire way, basically balancing off sink rate and stalling. And we absolutely can't float. We've got a 1,700 or 1,600 foot strip. This is not really what we should be doing. But what is life without adventure? And again, what happened was we saw a big chunk of like meadow like this right in the middle of our runway, and that didn't allow us to land. So what we're going to end up doing is, before we hit this rock face here, we're going to come over this ridge right here, and then along around that outcropping there and down that valley, and the airfield will be off to our right. It's a little bit tricky because we are it is on a ledge, so it's very deceptive when it comes to judging height, but we'll do our best. And even though the cabin crew is telling the cabin, the passengers, we're on approach, the real fact is that we have no passengers, and for that matter we have no cabin crew, because well, they're not crazy. And I believe way up there, that is Everest. And we are just in a gentle descent here. We're going to get configured in a hurry early for no other reason than there's no reason to rush things. And before we hit this rock outcropping, I'm just going to take control here, and we'll see how we get on. I'm going to hit my standby right there and kill our flight director. And try not to balloon up too much there. That's unseemly. Just roll off some power. Keep coming down, actually. Or certainly start to slow. Now, we're not over this little mini ridge here, but we're over the next one. So we're looking to come... Well, the airport's right about there. Roll off a little bit of power. And
2500.
we can see the fog rolling in. That's not a good sign. We will bring the props to max. Our bleeds are already set to min. We're just going to walk in a little bit of trim. And like I said, we're basically going to be flirting with the stick shaker the entire way. We're going to flatten out our approach on short final and barely come eking our way down. I'll show you what we're going to do. We're basically going to experiment with our speeds, as you'll see in a minute. Just get our rudder trim a little bit more sane. All right. Certainly beautiful up here. And we're going to just scoot around this outcropping here, and that'll put us on a sort of 45-degree base leg. Put in a notch of flaps. And a second, we'll bring in our gear. I mean, we're really just going to get configured in a hurry here, because I want to be able to feel out our configuration in a way. I want as much time getting used to it as I can, instead of having to adjust to a varying configuration as we come down. Alright, so we've slowed down to a nice crawl here. And in a second we'll see the field.
1000.
And I'm just going to arrest our sync as soon as we get to about 11. Just retrimming here. I hope that's not the strip. No, that's next to the strip. There's the strip. And with any luck, I'm hoping there isn't... Hey, there isn't a chunk of terrain in the middle of it. Okay. We might actually be able to do this.
2500.
Alright, we're actually about 2,000 feet above the field right now, which is actually a little bit high for where we are. Just making halting little adjustments to our
1000.
flight path. Oh shit. Look at that. See that green thing?
Sink rate.
That's a bit of terrain. Let me just quickly see if I can fix that. I don't think this is going to do it, but let's just see. Just getting rid of the land class here. Come on. Come on. I've obviously got a little bit of terrain in the way because it builds a custom mesh for the slanted runway. Forgive the interruption. Come on. Okay, do I have a runway? I've got a runway. All right, well, there we go. Let's see if we can land now. That'll be a different story. All right, so we're 1,300 feet above the field. Just going to trim up. Turn ourselves to final.
2,500.
Going a little fast. Bring our speed down. We're 1,000 feet above now. Now I'm going to have to arrest our sink at some point. I'll probably start doing it right about now. So up we'll come. We'll hit the stick shaker. Bring in some power. Line ourselves up. Okay, we're 400 feet above. Off comes the power again. There's the stick shaker. Okay, we're a little high.
1,000.
A little high. Here we come.
500. Minimums. 50. 10.
Okay, we're down. Come on. And we have arrived.